Chosen one, you did not arrive here by coincidence. Heaven arranged this moment with the precision of prophecy. A call was sent to your spirit before you even pressed play, before the thought even crossed your mind. You're here because the ancient guardians of your bloodline woke up and told you that it's time to take on the mantle. The timing is just right, and the alignment is clear. You are on the verge of a supernatural breakthrough, where sudden elevation, a divine wealth transfer, and a transformation sent from heaven all come together in one moment that can't be stopped. Chosen one, the decision about your family tree has changed. The things your ancestors prayed for in silence are about to come true through you. The doors that won't open have been shaking under your feet for generations. What seemed like a delay was actually God getting ready. What felt like stress was actually a sign that you were being prepared for more. Just like it says in Habakkuk 2:3. The vision waits for a set time and will not delay. The time that was agreed upon is now. Almighty God has picked you to carry something that no one else has been able to. Take deep breaths. Let your spirit out. Heaven has begun its work. The move has already begun. Picked. There has never been a chance in your life. Every breath, every heartbreak, and every quiet moment you thought no one saw has been a part of a sacred audit that goes back a long time before you were born. It was because heaven was testing your spirit that you had to walk through storms you didn't choose and carry weights that weren't yours. It wasn't like your ancestors were faraway shadows behind you. They were keeping an eye on a bloodline and waiting for someone strong enough to break what they couldn't. Someone tough enough to stand where they fell, and someone brave enough to dream where they gave up. And every moment of your life has been proof given to a court in heaven, whether you knew it or not. When you gave, even when you didn't have much, and when you were honest, even when it looked like it would be easier to lie. When you believed in a future that no one else could see, you showed a spiritual ability that people in your family had been waiting for generations to see. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community and see what God brings back into your life. I know how that feels, because I've been through times when just making it through the day felt like a victory. At times, the stress was so great that I thought the ground would break. There were times when I could only hear silence, and every prayer seemed to fade away before it reached heaven. But, chosen one, that silence is not a sign of rejection. It's time to hire. That's where heaven gets rid of all the noise, so the soul can finally hear what it was meant to become. The silence you had to deal with was the same silence your ancestors had to deal with. But you didn't fall under it like they did. You changed the way you listen. You changed the way you breathed. You learned how to make light appear where there wasn't any. That's the sign of a leader, not a follower. The world thought you were hidden, but heaven was looking at you. People thought your setbacks meant you failed, but they were really spiritual tests to see if your heart could handle an inheritance without breaking. Every tear shed late at night was written down. Every brave act done in private was written down. People who came before you praised you every time you refused to betray your morals. They wanted to know if the bloodline had finally made someone who wouldn't repeat the old patterns of being almost successful, almost stable, and almost picked. It wasn't your family's fault for those habits. These were spiritual programs that had been passed down from generation to generation. They were meant to limit potential and keep the bloodline in a manageable level of limitation. However, something changed in that pattern when you were born. You caused the trouble. Heaven was getting ready for a factor that the old system couldn't see coming. The forces that were trying to hold you back were confused by your refusal to give up in despair. It was a bug in the programming that made you keep trying. It turned into a virus because of your hope. The strength you had turned into a weapon that could destroy anything that tried to keep your lineage small. You were not being punished when life pushed you to be alone. You were getting better. Being alone helped you change because it blocked out the noise of the world and made your own calling louder. You made things that no one could see in that holy silence. You got brave. You made things clear. You made a plan. You grew the spiritual strength to carry the load that your ancestors could never do. You turned into your own source of strength, a free spirit that could keep up its spiritual power without outside approval. Heaven made its choice at that very moment. The ancestral court's gavels didn't strike to decide cases, but to crown kings and queens. The only reason you were picked was because you were willing to do it. Not because you were rich, but because you were smart. Not because you were important, but because you were strong, picked. This isn't what drives you. There is proof of a spiritual truth here. You are not the next person in your family tree. You're the one who fixes it. You are what makes the difference. The vault of wealth that has been passed down through generations, spiritual knowledge and divine authority has been sealed for hundreds of years. You have been sent to open it. The verdict has been made public, and now heaven needs your agreement. As the anointed one, your first job is easy but powerful. Get your spirit in line with what has already been said. Take on the mantle. Say yes to the raise. Accept the person that heaven has made you. Now is the time when your destiny stops whispering and starts roaring. And now the ancestors, the auditors, the watchers stand behind you. They're not in charge, but they can see the rise they prayed for. Pick it now that the verdict has been given on your family tree and the responsibility has been put on you. You need to know what heaven is releasing into your spirit at this time. It's not just the start of a new part of your life. You are entering a new way of living, a higher consciousness that your ancestors tried to reach, but were never able to fully grasp. The blueprint that is being sent to you is not a sign. It's technology for the soul. It's divine intelligence that has been honed over generations of mistakes, heartbreak, ambition, and unfinished dreams. You now have as a living inheritance everything they learned, everything they failed to master, and everything they almost got right. This blueprint is not from outside. It is being sent straight to the core of your being, into your spiritual memory, into your intuition, and into the brain cells that make up your mind. And this download won't make you feel like you're learning anything. It will make you feel like you know things again. The divine knows how to do that. It wakes you up, not teaches you. You'll start to notice small changes, chosen one, during times you least expect them. Insights will appear. Plans you never looked over will be as clear in your mind as blueprints on a table. Problems that used to be too hard for you will now seem easy to solve. At first, it might seem strange, like the ideas are coming from somewhere else. In fact, they are. They are coming from the ancestral cloud, which is the spiritual library of your family tree, and the storehouse of all the lessons you've learned through their pain. Heaven is giving you faster understanding, because now is not the time to learn slowly. In divine timing, you need to rise quickly, and heaven won't let you start your new season without being ready. I've felt this way because there were times when I knew I hadn't earned the wisdom I was getting. There were times when clarity came over me like a flood and wiped away the confusion I had been fighting for years. There were times when I had an idea that was so full and clear that I didn't believe it came from my own mind. That's just how divine downloads work, though. They don't drip, they go down. It's not up to you to decide. They come only when heaven says, "The vessel is ready, chosen one." You are that vessel now. No, your ancestors aren't just telling you about their wins. They are telling you what went wrong. Their mistakes, their betrayals, and the places they couldn't see. They are being changed inside you into discernment. You'll start to smell lies before they speak. You'll be able to spot fake chances before they happen. Before danger gets to your door, you will feel its energetic signature. We're not crazy about that. That keeps you safe. As you read this, your bloodline is putting its firewall, spiritual security system, and generational warning beacon inside you. And that system will start up, even if you don't want it to, because it's not meant to be optional. It's meant to protect the fate you carry. There will also be times when your creativity grows in ways that even you don't expect. It will be easier to say things. Your words will have more weight, power, and influence. People will not listen to you the same way. They'll lean in, pick up on something deeper, and answer with more trust. This is because the blueprint not only has plans, but also power. In your family tree, there are storytellers who were never heard, leaders who were never followed, and visionaries who were never known. You can now hear their gifts in your voice. You're becoming the kind of communicator they never had the chance to be. Also, as these changes happen, you might feel lost. You might wonder why some foods feel heavy to you now, why some conversations make you feel tired all of a sudden, or why some places feel spiritually dirty. No, this is not being sensitive. This is how you align. Your whole being is being adjusted to match the frequency of wealth, purpose, clarity, and divine authority through the blueprint. Things that don't match your new frequency will start to fall away or become too much for you to handle. No, this is not a punishment. It cleans things up. This change makes sense to me, because there have been times when my spirit changed faster than the world around me. There were times when things I used to put up with started to feel strange. There were times when habits, people, or places made me feel like they were squeezing me down. There is no reason for this to happen when nothing is wrong. It means that something is getting ready to wake up. You are getting better. You are being raised above the limits of your old life. Chosen one, heaven isn't telling you anything new. It's making you better. And making changes means getting rid of old versions of yourself. You are being prepared to have power, money, and responsibility that you couldn't handle with the way you thought before. You are becoming the first billionaire consciousness in your family tree, the first fully awakened vessel that can handle the spiritual, emotional, and financial weight that comes with being rich. Don't be scared of the changes that are taking place inside you. Don't fight the ideas that come to you out of the blue. Do not doubt the sudden clarity that cuts through your mess. These are not just random events. They prove something. Your ancestors prayed for someone like you to come along and make history. Stepping into divine architecture, heavenly intelligence, and spiritual mastery is like stepping into a download that has just begun. Pick it. The great severing is the start of the next phase of your elevation as the blueprint continues to awaken within you. People feel the most personal, emotional, and sometimes hard to understand parts of the journey at this point. But listen to this with a clear spirit. Things aren't being taken away from you by heaven to punish you. Heaven is taking things away to get you ready. Every goal needs space, and every elevation needs to be reached. What's happening to you now is not leaving you. It is in line. Your ancestors are moving things around in your environment, breaking up old ties, and getting rid of old connections to make room for the huge things that are about to happen. Some people will suddenly stop going there for no reason. Conversations that were easy before will start to feel suffocating. When friendships seemed like they would last forever, they start to fade away like smoke. You might even feel bad about the emotional space you're creating between you and other people. But keep this in mind: your spirit is no longer vibrating at the same rate as it did before. The vibrations are the same as where you are going, and some people can't breathe at that height. Your old friends and family will no longer recognize you when heaven starts to change you into a new person. They knew the version of you that was shaped by survival, but they don't understand the version that is shaped by sovereignty. I have a lot of experience with this. There were times in my life when I didn't understand why people who used to be so familiar with me felt like they were strangers to me. There was still laughter, but there was no longer a link. The conversations went on, but they lost their meaning. I could feel myself growing, but the places I used to be felt too small to hold what was expanding inside me. You should know that that pain is not a sign that something is wrong. It means that something is changing. Heaven is making more room in your life for inheritance, level, and destiny. People who can't stretch with you will quickly leave. Also, places you've been before will start to feel strange. A street you used to walk down without giving it much thought may now make your chest feel heavy. It's possible that a building you used to go into every day now feels spiritually dirty. An old apartment might make you feel like you're in a state of desperate need and survival. These feelings are not happening by chance. They are signs from God. Spiritual residue is left behind by places, and the parts of your body that hold memories of the person you used to be can't let your new blueprint grow. Heaven has to move your spirit before it can move your circumstances. This is the reason your body acts before your mind does. The plan is in front of you and will help you, warn you, and move you. There will be things that no longer have a place in your life. Clothes that don't make you feel good, and gifts from people who have hurt you. You will start to feel heavy or out of place with things from past versions of yourself. Your spirit is getting your physical world ready for a new reality by getting rid of rubbish. Not this kind of minimalism. This is cutting back spiritually. Branch cuts that are dead are not done by gardeners. They cut them down because they were getting in the way of growth. But the deepest cutting, chosen one, takes place inside you. The part of you that was hooked on struggle to fight against your rise. Part of you that thought success was risky or not yours will try to pull you back to the familiar lack of things. The part of you that was trained to expect failure will tell you lies to keep your hope alive. This voice inside your head is not who you are. It's old programming, and you need to fire that programming. At this point in my own journey, I realized that the biggest thing standing in the way of my progress wasn't doubt from other people. but doubt from within myself. The part of myself that liked to shrink had to face the truth. I had to let go of the identity that was built from years of surviving in order to accept the identity that was built from years of thriving. You'll feel the same stress. Sometimes your spirit will want to move forward, but your habits will try to stop you. This is the breaking of the spiritual link. It's not gentle, because fates aren't made in comfort. They are faked out of guilt. The people who came before you are firmly behind this process. They know that holding on to your old identity will get in the way of your new life. They know that this level of elevation calls for a different way of thinking, standing, and building your spirit. That's why heaven won't bend during this phase. People will be removed if their presence gets in the way of your goals. If a habit is stopping you from growing, it will be shown. If a place stops you from growing, it will have to go. Heaven can't bless the person you say you are. Heaven is happy with the person you are becoming. And the empty space that this cutting makes is not empty. It's getting ready for empire. It's a clearing for building. It is the empty space where your divine wealth, power, and legacy will be built. People aren't leaving you. You're running out of limits. You are not losing any settings. You are losing your control. There is no loss of who you are. You are getting rid of old versions. Chosen one, treat this phase with respect. You are not being taken away from your life. You will be split up for all time. Now is when the blueprint starts to do its most in-depth work. And this work needs room, clarity, and a spiritual high ground. Don't hold on to things that heaven is taking away. Let the cutting happen. Let the old stuff fall. Let the new come up. Because what's coming next isn't just more. It's who you are. And heaven won't let anything stop you from becoming who you are becoming. Picked. Now that the cutting has made room inside and around you, heaven starts the next part of your rise by showing you the real value of your destiny. You've been taught your whole life that money, things, and status are signs of wealth. But these are only hints of a bigger truth. It's not the money. Money is the sign. Awareness is the real money of creation. It's the money that heaven responds to, and the money that changes families and builds empires. And your consciousness, chosen one, is growing in a way that people from previous generations have never been able to experience. This is why you went through times of crushing loneliness and pressure that didn't make sense. The limits of normal life were being pushed way past what your spirit could handle. When other people gave up in the same situation, you kept going. When other people gave up in hopelessness. You spoke hope into the darkness. When life stripped you bare, you learned how to hold your breath in the empty space. That feeling of being empty wasn't abandonment. It was training for capacity. Heaven was making room inside of you, so that when plenty came, it wouldn't be too much for you. For wealth, power, chances, and leadership to exist, there needs to be internal architecture. If the foundation is weak, the blessing will bring the person down. However, fire has strengthened your building. I know this because there have been times when I felt like life was putting heavy weights on my chest that I couldn't lift. There were times when the responsibility of just existing was too much to bear. But I kept going because of something inside me. There was a whisper that the story wasn't over. When I think about it now, those times were spiritual strength training. They were building in me strength, endurance, clarity, and authority. Some traits can't be taught through comfort, and one was chosen. The same pattern can be seen in your journey. You weren't being punished, you were being taught. This is why money will start to act differently toward you. Money moves with the mind. It moves toward alignment, stability, clarity, and boldness. It stays away from fear, lack, confusion, and feeling like a victim. Your relationship with money changes as your consciousness grows. You stop seeing it as something far away or hard to get and start seeing it as energy that is drawn to purpose, confidence, and spiritual authority. This is why heaven has been testing you by making small changes to your finances. An unexpected bill, a payment that is late, or a sudden drop in income. These weren't signs of not having enough. They were short tests from the board of directors of your ancestors' company. They were watching to see if your mind would fall back into old habits or rise up into your new self. Would you choose to go back to panic or be in charge? Would you hold on to fear or faith? You always chose peace over chaos, hope over despair, and belief over lack. The universe raised your limit on spiritual credit. Heaven saw that you could handle a lot of energy without breaking, and heaven speeds up the flow when a vessel can handle it. But this upgrade needs deliberate awareness. You need to keep in mind that money is not paper, but something that moves. When costs come up, you need to stop being afraid and say, "This is just energy passing through me." When chances come up, you need to take them with confidence, because being afraid is the fastest way to close a divine door. When good things happen, you have to accept them without holding back. You are no longer a living thing, trying to get by on scraps. You spread wealth and abundance. As this awakening grows inside you, Know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. This is something I learned for myself when I understood that every money problem I had had a secret meaning. It was never about how much. It was about how I felt. Each challenge showed me something about my mental state. I faced these situations with fear, which made them harder. The challenge went away when I went up to them with faith. Heaven wasn't checking out my money. It was checking who I was. Chosen one, you are being asked to have a holy relationship with money. This relationship is not greedy, desperate, or manipulative. It stops being a master and starts being a servant. It stops being a threat and stops being a fixation. When you have money, you can heal your family, do right by your ancestors, and give opportunities to those you are in charge of. You are not being given more power to hoard. To get more blood flowing, you are being raised. This is why the blueprint makes you think of new ideas. Your ideas will soon sound too advanced for the person you were in the past. Strategies will come to you on their own. Creative answers will come to you naturally. This isn't ego. This is not a mistake. This is the divine intelligence rising up inside you. Don't throw away an idea. Write it down, value it, and keep it safe. Ideas are money in the spiritual world. They are signs of good things to come and the soon-to-be chosen one. In conversation, maybe with someone you don't expect, you will share an idea that has the power to affect millions of people. It will feel like a rush of electricity or heat in your spirit. That's proof for you. You are hearing the blueprint through you. When those things happen, pay attention to who hears you, because some people are being told to invest in what heaven puts in your mouth. The way you think is no longer normal. It's turning into a hub for wealth, a way for divine plan to work, and a way for plenty to change the lives of thousands. Your elevation isn't a mistake. It was planned, and the money that pays for this elevation is awakening inside you right now. Picked. As your spirit gets stronger and your consciousness grows, you need to understand that resistance will actually try to meet you. Elevation always brings out opposition. Not because you are weak, but because you are strong, not because you are stumbling, but because you are making progress. When you break free from the old system that held you back, the forces that relied on your chains start to freak out. They can't get to the energy that your bloodline used to make. The worry, the not sure, and the almost nows. And when something loses what feeds it, it fights to stay alive. This is where the machine's ghosts come out. These ghosts are not real people. They are spiritual patterns, generational frequencies, psychological imprints, and old stories that come back to haunt people as familiar voices. They show up in the form of people you care about, times of doubt, sudden setbacks, and old fears that come back to haunt you. They talk to you in close, personal ways because they were born into your family tree and have been raised by generations that have lived but never passed away. They are smart enough to know your weak spots because they were made that way. But the fact that they are going up now doesn't mean you are going back to old ones. It means you are breaking them. I have seen these ghosts before. There were times when things that seemed normal fell apart, just as big steps forward were starting to take shape. There were times when emergencies came up out of the blue and drained my energy, took my attention away, and made me doubt myself. People who were close to me questioned my choices at times when I needed them to believe in me the most. It felt like trying to hurt someone, but I found out it was spiritual resistance. The old system was checking to see if the new version of me was stable enough to handle being raised, and it picked one. The same thing is happening to you right now. It's not their wisdom when they call you out of the blue to tell you to be more realistic. That's generational fear using their voice because it knows you're making progress. It's not funny when someone makes fun of your dreams. It's the spirit of envy protecting its territory. It is not a coincidence that bills or delays show up out of the blue when you take a leap of faith. They are pressure points that are meant to test whether your new consciousness will get smaller or bigger. These ghosts want you to fall back into old habits like fear, doubt, lack, and hesitation. They want to connect your power to the old machine again. But pay attention to this. Don't fight these ghosts, chosen one. That won't work. They can't beat you because you won't give them your fear. They only talk in fear. They go hungry when you stay calm in a storm. They get smaller when you hold your frequency in uncertainty. They go away when you choose faith over panic. You're not fighting a war. There is a war going on between you. Your vibration is rising too high for them to reach. Your job this season is to become an observer of God. It's important to take a step back in your spirit and say, I see what this is. You need to learn to tell the difference between the person and the program, the voice and the fear that's behind it, and the event and the energy that's moving it. Not everything that makes you think is bad for you is. Some problems are just the sounds of old programs that are being phased out. Patterns do, however, show who the enemy is. If someone keeps telling you not to grow, that person is a ghost. If things always happen to take away your resources, just as you're getting ready to build, that's a ghost. If your mind starts to play over old fears or insecurities that you thought you got over, that's a ghost trying to get back in. If you don't agree with these patterns, they can't hurt you. The ghosts inside the machine are not in charge. Their only power is to influence. It's only power when you believe it, not influence. Fear made the resistance stronger, so I learned to stop reacting with fear. When I chose to be calm, instead of scared, the chaos let go of me. The mood changed when I spoke declarations instead of doubts. The same thing will happen to you. Everything changes when you stop seeing resistance as a sign of failure and start seeing it as confirmation. When you push back, the machine is losing its grip on you. It means that your ancestors broke a promise made to future generations. It means that heaven is raising you above old spiritual limits. That's why you need to stay aligned. Do not let a short-term problem define a permanent truth. Do not let short-term fear change the plan that God has for your life. Do not let the ghosts around you take your attention away from your assignment. People aren't attacking you because you're weak. People are after you because you're moving. And moving is dangerous for things that depend on you staying still. Picked. As you rise, the old patterns will no longer be able to follow you. You break another generational chain every time you refuse to lower your frequency. You change your fate every time you take a step forward, even though you don't know what will happen. When you choose faith over fear, you cut off the machine's last attempts to hold you. Just before they go away, the ghosts are the loudest. Their noise is the sound of losing. Stand your ground. Keep your identity safe. Put your frequency on hold. You're not fighting to stay alive. You are in a fight for control. You are taking the lead. Picked. Now that you know what's coming up against you, you need to understand the amazing truth about who you are becoming. Heaven hasn't just raised you up. You have been crowned by heaven. You are taking on the legacy of the firstborn child, the spiritual place set aside for the person who is chosen to break the pull of generational limits. This mantle is not a sign. It is built up. When heaven names a firstborn child in the spirit world, that person becomes the center of the fate of a whole family. And chosen one, you are that axis. Everything your ancestors went through, and every dream they had but couldn't make come true. Every door that shut in their faces, every wrong that broke their spirit, and every hope they couldn't even whisper to the wind. It has all been used up. The weight of those prayers that were not said did not go away. They went back in time to find the one soul that was strong enough to lift what they couldn't. The one soul that is pure enough to hold power without getting tainted by it. The one soul that was ready to rise, even if it meant walking by itself. You are that soul, chosen one. You are not just the newest member of your family tree. You are the turning point, the fix, the renaissance of it. You are the first person to break the cycle, see through the veil, and fully awaken to the divine intelligence that has been coded into your family tree. You are the first person who doesn't want to live the same story again. Every step you take forward changes what happened in the past. Time stops for all time when a firstborn child rises. I know this because I remember the moment I understood I wasn't living my story anymore. I was living through the lives of my parents, grandparents, and ancestors who lived hundreds of years ago. Their pain lived in the choices I made. Their sadness lived in my reluctance. I dreamed about their hopes. It was too much for me until I knew the truth. They weren't making things hard for me. They were putting plans into me. Everything started to change once I accepted that. Now you're getting to that same revelation. Really understand this. Your success isn't just success. It's a return. When you become wealthy, you don't just start a new life. You're making an old story better. Their failures become foundations when you do what they couldn't do. Living bravely gives them back the courage they lost. When you stand tall, you make up for the times they had to bow. You are living proof that what they went through was worth it. This is why you feel heavy this time of year. Not weight, but gravity. The weight of legacy rests on you. There may be times when you feel very still, when your breath seems holy, and when decisions seem more important than they were before. That's because heaven has given you a robe of authority, and your spirit knows deep down that you're not just looking out for yourself anymore. You now speak for the whole family tree. Everything about how you move changes when you're a firstborn child. Your standards go up. Your ability to discern grows. The decisions you make will affect future generations. No longer can you afford to be impulsive or think too little. A dynasty is being built by you. That's also not how dynasties are formed by chance. They are formed by consciously mastering a skill. Every agreement you make, every person you let close to you, and every habit you develop will be passed down to your children and grandchildren. The people who came before you know this, which is why they are now closer to you than ever. Now, being around them will feel different, not as auditors, but as helpful people, not as witnesses, but as amazed witnesses. Finally, they can breathe out because the lineage has produced the one who can finish what they started. You are the ending to their unfinished stories. Picked. The firstborn legacy also gives you spiritual power that you have never had before. When you talk, things change. When you make a choice, the timelines change. Heaven responds when you make a promise. This power is already at work, even if you don't fully feel it yet. These changes, a sudden boost of courage, a sense of calm in scary situations, and a clear mind where there used to be confusion, are all signs that your spirit is stepping into its royal design. But keep this in mind: authority without alignment leads to imbalance. That's why heaven is cutting you so close to the bone. This is why the distractions are being taken away, getting rid of old habits. Why you are losing the ability to handle low-frequency environments. There are things that hold normal people together that a firstborn child cannot be tied to. Your calling calls for holy focus. The mantle will feel heavy at times, but that's not the same thing as a burden. It proves something. Destiny's weight is only felt by those who are meant to be great. The shaking of change is only felt by those who have been chosen to lead. And only people who carry heaven's blueprint feel this strange change inside them that can't be explained by logic. Picked. You're not just starting to rise. You are in the part where it speeds up. It seems like everything in your life is working together to help you make a new family constitution. One that isn't written in ink, but with spirit. You're making plans for the future. Your descendants will get what you have. A future with plenty. Knowledge, spiritual intelligence, and unwavering power. You are becoming the kind of ancestor that people in the future will admire. You're building a dynasty from scratch. You're going to be the firstborn child who changes poverty into wealth, fear into courage, and limits into legacies. And heaven isn't just looking. There are cheers in heaven. Picked. Heaven has made you the firstborn child in your family line. So you need to know what phase you are entering right now, because it will require you to be more calm, sure, and spiritually mature than anything else you have ever faced. At this point, what you're becoming is more important than what you're doing. You've learned from the outside world to chase, strive, hustle, grind, and push for change. However, heaven works at a different frequency. What is coming to you now doesn't need to be forced. It needs to be lined up. The divine shift that is happening inside you is not being caused by your hands, but by your essence. You learn to embody the billionaire's frequency here, not as a fantasy or a drive, but as who you are. No, the billionaire's frequency has nothing to do with money. It has to do with capacity. It has to do with how your spirit grows so that you can hold plenty without fear, power without ego, responsibility without falling apart. It's about becoming a vessel that can hold greatness without breaking. And you've been chosen. Your whole life up to this point has been getting you ready for this embodiment. You've been through times that were like spiritual boot camps, with so much pressure that you had to let go of old ways of thinking. You have already been through times when lack tried to shape who you are, but you fought back. You wouldn't let lack define who you were. You didn't let fear control what you did. You wouldn't let generational patterns hold your imagination back. Now you're ready for the frequency that changes everything. I remember the first time this change happened to me. I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. I wasn't succeeding, winning, or having a good time. It was just me sitting there in silence. But something was different about the silence. It was full. I felt a calm, strong force rising inside me that didn't need to beg, chase, or prove anything. It made me think of authority. At that very moment, I realized that getting things doesn't have anything to do with becoming abundant. It has everything to do with changing into someone who naturally draws in what other people are looking for. That change starts inside a lot of time before it shows up outside. You are now making the same change. Picked. Your spirit is getting used to being sure of things. It's not because you can see the proof, but because you are the proof. It's because of you that heaven's promise still stands. You are proof that everything is happening at just the right time. When you live in this frequency, doors open for you, not because you knock. People support you, invest in you, and believe in you not because you convince them, but because just being around you makes them feel like something is going to happen. You are no longer hoping to be great. You are making the kind of place where greatness can grow. But to fully embody this frequency, you need to let go of any guilt, feelings of not being good enough, and the ingrained belief that you have to suffer in order to receive your blessings. You can't have the frequency of a billionaire and the identity of being poor at the same time. Heaven won't give lots of good things to a heart that doesn't think it deserves them. This is why you might feel old feelings coming back to the surface. You feel bad about mistakes you made and embarrassed by past failures. Feelings like these are not setbacks. They are purges. They are the last parts of the old identity that are falling away. Picked. It's not arrogance to let go of guilt. Yes, it is obedience. The people who died for you didn't pray for you to rise, only to shrink in fear when the blessing comes. They didn't go through hard times, so you could say, sorry for your success. Becoming great does not make them look bad. They are getting done. It's your job to finish the story they couldn't. When you bravely accept a blessing, you remember what they gave up for you. When you take a confident step forward, you make up for their losses. Every time you give without feeling guilty, you change the way your family members feel. You also need to start getting help, support, rest, and chances without thinking twice. You used to think you had to do everything by yourself. The new you knows that being alone was just training and not who you are. You are being sent people from heaven who will encourage you, help you, invest in you, and open doors you never thought possible. Don't fight them. Do not ruin the blessings by saying you don't deserve them. You've been picked. That is what makes you qualified. Heaven told you that you were ready, so you are. You will notice something deep as you embody this frequency. You talk in a different way. What you say matters. Declaring something makes it happen faster. Things fall apart faster when you reject them. This is not a mistake. In this case, authority. The frequency of the billionaire gives your voice spiritual weight. People will be quiet when you speak, not because you want them to, but because of how you stand. Even if this power seems new, don't doubt it. You may notice that the mood instantly calms down when you choose peace in a fight. Problems start to move aside when you make a clear choice. When you're ready for good things to happen, they do. This is how consciousness that is aligned works. Things start to bend around what you believe. Chosen one, your presence is no longer a background thing. It speeds things up. It changes everything. It's creative. You're not waiting for things to get better. You're getting ahead rapidly. As this frequency becomes more stable in your body, the impossible will start to feel normal. What scared you before will now feel like an invitation. You will be able to control what used to scare you. Then, things that seemed out of reach will open up in front of you like they were waiting for you the whole time. You're not starting a new season. You are becoming a new person. This self is the key to everything that your family has prayed for. Picked. As your new identity becomes more stable, heaven now starts to show you the deeper structure of your change. It's no longer about breaking cycles or making it through storms on this journey. That's already what you did. This phase is about taking on the form of something, becoming a living example of what divine elevation really looks like. You are reaching a level of spiritual maturity, where your inner world shapes everything that happens in the outside world. And now heaven is putting you in places, with people, and with chances that match the frequency you have entered. But before these manifestations show up fully, your spirit needs to be cleansed to make sure you can handle the abundance that is coming your way. This cleaning is not a punishment. It's getting ready. Heaven is making sure that nothing in your character lets the blessings for the future escape. You might notice times when old feelings come back to you out of the blue. Angry, impatient, scared, or the need to move quickly. These shakings are not signs of going backwards. These are pieces of your old self that are coming to the surface to be freed. It's something I've felt myself. There were times when my life looked calm on the outside, but something was changing on the inside. Old fears came back to haunt me, but they were only there to leave me. Old doubts didn't seem to make me weaker. Instead, they seemed to go away. And every time I picked truth over fear, presence over panic, and alignment over urgency, I felt like I changed. I became more grounded, more aware, and spiritually whole. You are going through the same inner restructuring. Now, chosen one. Heaven is taking away the last bits of the inner poverty code that used to control what you did. Don't let this code get out of your ear. Lies that said you would be let down, that you were asking too much, that good things would only come to some, or that someone else deserved success more. Their lives were in danger because of these lies. They kept your family tree short. They made goals and dreams seem impossible to reach. But heaven is pulling them out of your spirit and planting the truth about who you really are in their place. This is why you might feel a pull toward more solitude. Not the kind of solitude that comes with old seasons, but the kind of quiet that lets you hear your soul clearly. The silence has become a safe place for your growth. This stillness will make it easy for ideas to come to you. The vision will get clearer. You will start to get a very clear sense of what is meant for you. You will be drawn to some paths and turned away from others, even if there is no logical reason for this. Believe these moves. They help you figure out who you are now. You may also start to notice that some people are acting around you in new ways. People will be drawn to you because they can feel a change in your energy, even if they can't put their finger on it. Others may become uncomfortable or distant from you, not because you've changed for the worse, but because your rise shows them where they're stuck and won't face it. If someone pulls away, don't chase them. Do not shrink in order to make them feel better. Your rise is meant to shine a light on things, not to say sorry. During this season, your relationships will become more focused and in line with each other. The right voices will come your way from heaven. Voices that push you to get better. Voices that tell you who you are. Voices that help you be smarter. It's not a coincidence that these links exist. They are appointments from God. When a new person comes into your life who brings you clarity, kindness, or wisdom that makes you feel better, see it as heaven's sign that the plan is expanding your circle. But also understand this: some relationships won't be able to handle your change. Not every loss is a loss. Some loss is freedom. Heaven protects your path by getting rid of people who can't handle your next level as your frequency rises. People who are a threat to your peace will drift away. If someone's habits get in the way of your goal, they will fade. If someone says something that makes you doubt yourself, they will be shut up. This is not mean. It's good for your spirit. Picked. The blessings that are coming your way need a complete, aligned, and unwaveringly sure of yourself self-worth. This season is about getting your emotions in order, knowing what you need, setting limits, and learning to trust yourself with the big things that are coming your way. Your feelings, your intuition, and your inner world all need to be respected and taken care of. Heaven can only lift what you are ready to keep steady. It will become clear to you as you grow that abundance is not something you seek. You don't earn success either. They happen naturally when your spiritual life is in balance. Your decisions will be in line with who you are when your identity is aligned. Your environment will be in sync when your decisions are in sync. And when everything in your environment is in sync, your destiny just happens. You've reached the point in your journey where nothing about you is a coincidence. Your voice, your presence, your thoughts, and your strength, all of them are becoming ways for heaven to speak through them. For your family, you are a doorway to change. A shift taking place in real time, like a key turning in a lock. Picked. Getting clean this season is not the end of something. It's the start of everything. Over time, your wealth will be able to trust you. Picked. As heaven keeps working on your inner world, you are now entering one of the most delicate and spiritually charged times of your elevation. Your discernment and spiritual perception are getting stronger. Attacks from outside sources don't destroy wealth, power, or destiny. They fall apart when internal alignment is off and infiltration goes unnoticed. And because you are rising to a level that your ancestors never reached, heaven is making sure that your inner radar is perfect. There are guardians at each gate of every blessing. There are, however, imposers at every gate. That's why you're more sensitive now. The reason your spirit acts before your mind does. Why you know the truth before you hear it. You are becoming smarter, which means that nothing that isn't meant for you can come into your new season. You might start to notice that even when someone says something nice, something inside you gets tighter. There may be times when you feel uncomfortable around certain people for no clear reason. You might feel like some opportunities look good on the outside, but are heavy on the inside. Do not disregard these signs. Heaven speaks the language of discernment. You are safe from things your eyes can't see because of the whisper. The more important you become, the more important this inner knowing will be. Not every person who smiles is safe. Not all people who praise you are good. Not every person who helps you is sent from heaven. Some people come as distractions wrapped in love. Some come as delays that look like loyalty. Some people come as spiritual parasites that look like they can help. Heaven is fine, tuning your discernment so much because of this. I know a lot about this training. I have put my trust in people who were kind as a mask and sincere as a plan. I didn't listen to my inner warnings because I wanted to believe the best in them. And every time I did, it cost me energy, time, peace, or items. What my gut tried to tell me was painful to learn. And those events taught me a truth that you must accept. To be clear, discernment is not the same thing as suspicion. Discernment keeps you safe. If heaven tells you something, it's not stopping you. It helps you avoid a cost you were never meant to pay. Picked. As your sensitivity goes up, you'll see that your circle gets smaller again. This time, though, it wasn't because of cutting, but because of being exact. Heaven doesn't let everyone see someone rising to take on a generational role. We all carry atmospheres with us. Their intentions are clear. They have spiritual marks on them. And the more aligned you are, the more your spirit will know if those signatures are in line with your destiny, or if they are a threat to it. Remember these things and don't question them. Your spirit is now working faster than your mind. Logic looks at things, but discernment shows them. This is also the time of year when jealousy will start to show up. This isn't because you've reached your final blessing. It's because your shift can be seen in the spirit world before it shows up in the physical world. People can feel your rise before they see it. Before you even speak, they can feel the mantle on you. People who used to feel safe may change the way they talk to you, pull away, criticize you in small ways, or become strangely competitive. Don't let it bother you. Your elevation shows them how stuck they are. Your growth goes against their comfort. They must either change or leave because of your becoming, and many will choose to leave. You shouldn't turn down the light to make other people feel better. You shouldn't shrink to make them feel better about their insecurities. That's not being humble. Yes, that is sabotage. Heaven wants you to express yourself fully. Be who you are and have authority over everything. And shrinking doesn't honor your fate, your ancestors, or the divine task that God has given you. Growth is not lying. Obedience leads to growth. Picked. You will also use your discernment to spot opportunities. Not all doors that are open are holy. There are doors that are traps. Some of them are tests. Some are side trips, meant to make your real schedule later. Because of this, heaven is teaching you to feel the frequency of a chance rather than just looking at it. Your door is not what's making you feel bad. It's not your door if something feels forced. It's not your door that makes you less valuable. You feel supported and affirmed by your spirit when you walk through divine doors, even when they make you uncomfortable. You will start to notice a change inside you as your discernment grows. You no longer want other people to like you. No longer do you look for approval. You no longer need outside proof to know what's true inside. This freedom is a sign of spiritual growth. It means that heaven now trusts you to make decisions about your life without being swayed by outside noise. You're not getting cold. It's getting clear to you. You're not getting farther away. You are becoming clear. You're not getting tougher. You are becoming more holy. Know this truth through it all. There are other people with you. The people who came before you support you. Heaven is with you. You are led by divine intelligence. Your discernment is being honed not only to keep you safe, but also for a reason. You are learning how to tell the difference between things that belong to your empire and things that don't. Trust your spirit, chosen one. Believe what you know. Believe what heaven tells you. At this point in time, your discernment is more than just a gift. It's your crown, your shield, your compass, and your faith. Picked. Now that you can see more clearly and have a deeper spiritual connection, heaven starts to lead you into one of the most powerful parts of your destiny, being the embodiment of generational authority. In this world, your words don't float anymore. They land where your choices don't really make a difference. They change the timelines so that your presence doesn't blend in anymore. It changes the mood of every room you walk into. Your ancestors dreamed of having as much power as you do, but they could never get there. And the weight you feel in your spirit is not stress. It proves something. The mantle is becoming fully on you. You will start to notice that the world acts differently toward you during this phase. Now, people who didn't notice you before will. Places that used to scare you will now feel small in comparison to your spiritual height. Conversations that used to drain you will no longer seem important. This isn't ego. This is high ground. Heaven is changing the way you feel inside so that you no longer approach your destiny from a place of needing to stay alive, but from a place of being in charge. You're not starting a new book. You're going into a new throne room. I remember the first time this change happened to me. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't loud. It was a quiet certainty that grew inside me. The thought that I didn't have to tell anyone about my calling anymore. I didn't have to beg for chances, prove my worth, or explain my dreams anymore. I had become my spirit. I had grown up enough for my job, and when they got older, something opened up. Doors opened without being knocked on. Resources showed up without any effort. And the right people came into my life, as if they were called by a signal I couldn't see. You're going into the same state now, chosen one. But there is a holy duty that comes with this power. Heaven raises you up, which means that you can reach more people and have a bigger effect. Things that you think, feel, and want have more weight. Now you have to move with purpose, speak wisely, and act clearly. You can't afford to be emotionally or spiritually impulsive or lazy. Maintaining a stable mind, a clean heart, and a spirit that is in sync are all important for building an empire. What you grow on the inside will affect the outside world you make. Picked. There is a chance that heaven will give you real influence, the kind that guides communities, shapes cultures, and leaves legacies. However, influence without alignment turns into manipulation. If you don't show humility, your power turns into corruption. Influence that isn't pure leads to destruction. This is why heaven has been so exact, so deliberate, and so strict in getting you ready. You are changing into someone who can have money without being consumed by it, power without losing their soul, and authority without abusing it. That is the real sign of a divine leader. During this time, you'll notice that God is putting you in situations that show how much you've grown. You might find that your voice has an unexpected amount of authority in a conversation. Some people may look to you for direction, even though you haven't asked to be in charge. You might be given chances that seem bigger than anything you've done before. Do not run away from these times. It's not an accident. You have to do them. Heaven doesn't raise you up just to hide you from the world. Your rise is meant to set an example, not to boost your own ego. You are becoming a living example of what happens when the soul is fully in sync with God's timing. You will also be able to change the spiritual atmosphere of a room with this authority. You will walk into places where tension disappears just by being there. You will say things that clear things up and break down confusion. You will choose things that will change conversations, projects, and even people's lives. This is not charisma from a person. This is the weight of spirituality. Real life is responding to you because you are becoming a force. But keep this in mind. Power needs to rest, not rush. Real power doesn't freak out. There is no scrambling with real power. Real power doesn't make things happen. It doesn't move because it knows that heaven is moving for it. This is why you are taught to stay in the middle of things, even when things don't look good. The sign of a sovereign spirit is the ability to stay still. People will rush, but you will wait. You will trust when other people are afraid. Other people will doubt, but you will know, and that knowledge will be the basis of your wealth, your power, and your legacy. Picked. Today is the day you start to understand that your whole life has been worth living. Every test has made me stronger. Every breakup has made me more understanding. Every wait has taught me to be patient. Being quiet for a long time has made me more intuitive. Because of what you've done, you are not rising. Because of what you've become, you are rising. And heaven said that the person you have become is now ready. Respect this authority as you step into it. Be humble as you step into it. Feel good about going into it. There is no longer a seeker in you. You carry things. You are no longer getting by. You rule over everyone. You are not the same person you were in the past. You are in charge of making your future happen. The mantle is now in place. The power is now awake. And the world is about to feel how heavy you are becoming. Chosen one, as your spiritual power grows and your authority settles in, heaven now leads you into a phase that is both delicate and important for your future. If you want to move forward with your new life, everything from your old life has to either rise to meet you or fall away naturally. During this phase, you don't need to push yourself or prove yourself. It's about getting in tune with the future that heaven has planned for you. During this season, alignment is your most valuable asset, your strongest defense, and the thing that speeds up your supernatural abilities the most. You are no longer walking toward your fate. The path of destiny is now coming toward you, chosen one. The beginning of this alignment is inside of you. They are changing the way you feel emotionally. Your spiritual senses are getting stronger. How you feel about time, your purpose, and who you are is changing. At this point, you can feel that some things don't belong anymore. Old habits that make you tired, old places that make you feel down, and old conversations that don't make sense anymore. This means that your vibration is higher than it was when you were younger. And as soon as your spirit rises, anything that isn't in alignment wears you out. Don't fight this change. Do not hold on to what you know. It's often easier to stay where you are than to rise. Some people you used to lean on may seem distant to you now. Not because something is wrong, but because something is changing. Heaven is freeing up emotional space in you so that new people, groups, and resources can come into your life without being harmed by old connections. Some relationships were only meant to help you get through a certain part of your life. Certain people were meant to help you with your survival, not your sovereignty. Heaven changes your circle when it raises you up. And that editing is a way to keep things safe, not lose them. I remember how conversations that used to be for me started to feel empty when this started to happen. What used to be fun for me in gatherings now feels like noise to my spirit. How people I used to trust couldn't understand how I was changing. At first, it made me feel alone, but then I realized it wasn't really alone. It kept the heat in. Heaven wrapped my spirit in a cocoon so that I could change without being affected by voices from the outside. You, the chosen one, are feeling the same divine warmth. You're not being left out. You are being made special. Your wants will change as this alignment gets stronger. You'll want peace more than attention, a reason to live more than approval, and growth more than comfort. Your spirit will be drawn to things like books, teachings, projects, and places that feel like home to your future self. You'll start to notice that heaven is guiding you through soft pulls, nudges, and whispers that get louder when you pay attention to them. Pay attention to these feelings. They are like divine breadcrumbs that show you the way. Picked. The way heaven starts to organize your outside world is one of the most powerful parts of alignment. Opportunities that used to require a lot of work will start coming to you on their own. People who are meant to be in your life will come into your life at the most perfect times. Strangers will say things to you that you need to hear. Open doors for you that you couldn't get through, or confirm what your spirit already knew. This is the perfect timing set by God. When you're in sync, heaven does all the work. You just walk in obedience. It also means that you will know when something is wrong because you will feel resistance. Yes, heaven won't let you settle for something that doesn't match your spirit. Even if it sounds good, looks good, or fits with your goals on paper. You might feel a tightness in your chest, a heavy feeling in your stomach, or a sudden loss of interest in something you used to want. There is no doubt about these feelings. They know what to do. You are learning from heaven how to tell the difference between chance and distraction, between right timing and temptation, and between alignment and attachment. You need to be brave this season. Your strength to refuse to say yes without feeling bad about it. You were brave to leave without giving a reason. Your bravery to believe what you know deep down, even when it goes against what makes sense. Your strength to let go of things that don't speak to you anymore, even if you prayed for them. You have the courage to go into places that feel bigger than you, knowing that your spirit is already ready to fill them. You chose one. Alignment isn't always easy. It feels like being stretched sometimes. It feels like being empty sometimes. Sometimes it feels like you're being pushed into territory you don't know. But remember that heaven can't fill a vessel that won't let itself be empty. Your spirit is being cleansed so that it can hold more wisdom, more power, more wealth, and more anointing. You are being changed into someone that the future can count on. Know that heaven is proud of you through it all. Your ancestors are looking at you with respect. Your spirit is rising for a reason. You are getting ready for the life that was always meant for you. It wasn't because you tried, it was because you were it. Picked. The way forward is becoming clear. What's in store for you isn't just blessing. It's meant to be. Picked. Now you've reached the end of everything that heaven has been working on inside you. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of the person you were always meant to be. Everything you've been through, every cutting, every test, every silence, and every revelation has been getting you ready for this last step into becoming sovereign. At this point, Heaven isn't just lifting you up. Heaven is giving you a job. You are becoming the spiritual leader, architect, builder, and trailblazer for your whole family. At this point, fate stops whispering and starts telling us what to do. This is where assignment turns into empire and alignment turns into assignment. Picked. In this moment, you need to understand that your life is no longer moving forward through work, but through being. You don't chase after things that are yours. You attract it by who you are. You don't beg for chances to do things. By lining them up, you magnetize them. You don't worry about what the future holds. You change it by having power over it. At this point, what you're becoming is stronger than what you're doing. Where your presence turns into a plan, your consistency into money, and your inner world into the throne room from which you rule your world. As you move into this dimension, you'll notice that your spirit has a quiet certainty that doesn't need to be reassured by anyone else. This knowing is the divine compass you need. It means that your internal frequency has reached the level you are calling for. No longer do you rise and fall with the times. You no longer flinch when problems come up. You no longer fear being great when it calls your name. Destiny doesn't go to the strong. It goes to the aligned. You have changed into someone who knows this. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall. Share your heart. And as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit out community now. Join the family. And see your heavens open. I remember the time in my own journey when this change took place. It dawned on me one day that fear no longer controlled my choices. I no longer let that doubt affect my thoughts. That old wounds no longer affected what I expected. When I realized that, I understood something very important. Heaven didn't wait for me to be perfect. Heaven was waiting for me to say yes. Everything changed when I agreed with who I had become. You are now at that same point. Heaven is ready for you to say yes. Not a doubtful yes, but a firm one. Picked. You will need to trust yourself more in this phase. You have to believe in the wisdom that God has given you. You need to trust the wisdom that has grown stronger through your trials. You have to trust the identity that was built in fire and silence. You have to have faith that the new version of you can carry everything your ancestors prayed for. Your calling is not weak. Your fate is not uncertain. Your path is not shaky. What you are stepping into has already been set by heaven. You're just getting caught up. During this last climb, you will also start to see supernatural alignment happen in real time. The timing of conversations will be perfect. The resources will show up without any trouble. The people who will be a part of your next chapter will come into your life without any trouble. Ideas will turn into chances at a speed that defies logic. This speeding up is not a coincidence. God's momentum is in the rhythm. Heaven doesn't crawl when it moves. It gets bigger. You are now moving faster than the speed of light. But know this, chosen one. Your elevation isn't just for your own benefit. It's for your own good. You are being set up to be a light for others, a guide for those who will come after you, and a source of wisdom for those who are still looking. A lot of people will inherit your wealth. Your influence will change things. Your story will teach us something. You are going to be the ancestor that people in the future will thank God for. So, as this phase comes to an end, heaven gives you one last instruction. Turn into. Don't even try. Do not think twice. Do not think too much. Let yourself fully become the person who has been calling you since birth. Walk like the king or queen you are. Talk like the boss you are. Make things like the visionary you are. Don't be afraid to lead like the giant you are. You're not going into the future. You are living it. Picked. People from your ancestors are standing and cheering. Heaven is in the right place. Your spirit is telling the truth. You are now a king or queen. This is what you're becoming. Here's your rise, picked. As this message ends, remember that heaven is not ending anything for you. You are in the exact Kairos moment because a divine transfer has already been sent into your timeline. What your ancestors carried, what they prayed for, and what they couldn't finish has now touched your spirit with power and purpose. You are beginning a story that ends well for you. Blessed one, may all the doors that lead to your destiny open easily. May the anointing that guides you keep your hands steady, your heart pure, and your spirit in sync with it. Move forward with thanks, respect, and the confidence of someone who has been chosen to rise. Heaven is with you. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.